Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Evie. I believe we are live.
It's always a surprise. I mean, I'm not surprised anymore that that it is a surprise. So that's okay. We're here.
Yeah,
We're full of energy and we are ready to chat. What are we talking about? I have not checked.
So, not to worry. I have. So, just to say that we do like to kind of choose the phrases that we want to focus on each week. And so this week it's the all or nothing trap. And again, as always, for those who perhaps are watching us for the first time, here we are unpacking the narratives that hold us captive, that keep us small, that keep us caged. They're the phrases and the stories that we keep on utilizing or operating from that stop us from being our full selves, that stop us from really kind of expanding and really becoming the potential that we were put here to be. And whilst these phrases are all very small, they are incredibly impactful. They're impactful up here, that wiring that has taken place, that through mental fitness, we work to rewire. I think I want to use that word, and create much better ways of thinking, thus impacting the way that we feel and what we actually do. And that's what these lives are about. We choose two different phrases under a heading and bring them to the table, talk about our own experiences or perhaps client experiences, and invite you to engage with comments. You know, are any of these phrases familiar to you? Have you used them? Do you use them? What do you feel that perhaps those phrases have stopped you from doing, from achieving, from becoming? We want to know because it's important stuff.
And we're starting with a phrase. It says, if I can't do it all, I won't do it at all. And thankfully, Yvonne, I don't feel that way because if I had to do it all, we wouldn't be going live and I wouldn't know what I was talking about. So thank you so much for being here, for sharing this space with me, for unpacking those myths and sharing all these fabulous stories from your own clients and you know, whatever it is that we're doing. So generally speaking, like I am like very high controller. So and that's my saboteur. I shouldn't be saying I am. No, there is something else there that is like telling me that I have to control.
A pattern. It's a pattern of behavior.
And also a hyperachiever. So these are the patterns that used to run me quite a lot. So this is a phrase that has been very much working in my head and telling me that this is the truth, until, of course, like always I say, I stopped and asked, is this true? Well, the truth is that there is very little we are doing just by ourselves and that is sustainable. We always need others to be able to do things, to survive, to thrive, to like anything. Even if we think that we are just islands, well, look around you. Who made what of the things that are around you? Your food, the clothes that you're wearing, anything. There are other people involved in your life, whether you like it or not. So, nice. Yeah, that is definitely a big lie of our saboteurs.
Yeah, that's such a great thing, isn't it? Just actually acknowledging how many people are influencing your life, whether you notice it or not, realize it or not, in all these different ways, from the foods that you eat to the clothes that you wear to, the makeup you put on or don't put on, and all those things. There are other people that are impacting the way that you show up, even if you think everything is down to you. And I think this, if I can't do it all, I won't do it at all, is very hyperachiever type statement, very controlling, and also the avoider. The avoider perhaps uses it in the way that there's usually overwhelm. So as somebody who can relate to the avoider narratives previously, that sense of there's so much that needs to be done. And so it's almost easier to say, well, if I can't do it all, I won't do it at all. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth the headache. And I've said this before when we've had other phrases that have come up but have pointed to a similar thing, is, when I've worked on projects and suddenly thought, oh my gosh, there are so many moving parts of this. I can't do it all, and so I won't do it at all. And then put down what would have been some really pretty great projects on the back of that. And I can say that now without any sense of, oh my gosh, I should have and shouldn't, and all the blame and all the crazy, that's all disappeared. That does not exist for me now. However, one of the things that has come up for me is that when you want to do, anything, it's always wise to say, where might I need help? Because I know my skill set. I know the things that I'm pretty good at. I know the things I'm confident in doing, etc. However, I don't think there's ever been a project where there's stuff that I'm like, well, that's not my bag. That's not my area of expertise. And I would have before just pushed my way through it and then thought, oh my goodness, I can't be asked. Now it's like, okay, who do I need? Who do I need to be working with in order for this thing to truly happen? So, like, for me, that's been a complete and utter change. And so as I look at that phrase now, if I can't do it all, I won't do it at all. That, like you said, for me has just turned into a big, bold lie. It's not a story that plays out for me anymore. It's not one that I can't even say that it pops up, because I'm always like, who can I collaborate with? Team up with.
We're big in collaboration, aren't we?
Yes. Because I understand the importance and the benefits of working with others. If you want to have a massive impact in this world, stop trying to do everything on your own. Stop trying to control every single thing. That is not the way forward. You will drive yourself probably insane way before you get to do the thing you want to do. This is how burnout occurs. This is how high stress levels occur, because I've got to do it and I've got to do it all. And I'm, especially in the leadership role, I must be seen to, and all of that stuff that feeds into that. And for me, actually, when I look at that phrase now, if I can't do it all, I won't do it at all. Apart from the fact that it's a big, bold lie, it just leads you down a path of feeling that you're not enough, because it comes back to that not enough. If I'm meant to do this all and I can't do it all, then I am not enough, and therefore I may as well put this down. And that, again, is another big, bold lie.
And it opens the door for excuses anyway. I mean, like a lot of those things. And the thing is that I find that when you say, if I can't do it all, I won't do it at all, you are really stopping a very good project, like you said, of being realized. And eventually somebody is going to hopefully do it, because they are a bit more open to collaborating or to finding the right people. And some time ago, one thing that I heard, and to me that stayed like as a beacon in a way, is that it's not about how, it's about who. And I think that makes such a big difference in doing anything you do in life. Because the how, if you really have a big dream and you really intend in doing something, you'll figure it out. It doesn't matter as long as you have that vision, you will figure it out. The who is the actual way of finding the how. And I think this calls exactly that as the lie that it is.
Yeah. There's the and I agree. In my experience, and this is the experience through all the experiences I've had when I have tried to do everything myself, and even if I've been able to, how I felt by the end of it was so exhausted. I wish I hadn't bothered, because I was just too tired to actually enjoy any part of it because I was just exhausted. And then all the other things that got started then never got finished because I couldn't do it all, and then I didn't ask for the help and the support that I needed. So all of those things, when I stopped doing those things and thinking that I had to do that, thus thinking other things, was like, okay, I have this idea. It already feels big. So who and what is required? Who do I need and what do I need? What skills might I need to up level on, and who else would add value to this? So the how, for me, the how will happen. The how is like the alignment bit, when things just start lining up and you're just like, oh my goodness, how did that happen? Well, guess what? It happened. It happened because you put all the right pieces in place, right? You understood why you wanted to do it. You could feel and sense the importance of it. You gravitated toward the right sort of people who could be part of that. And you found the other tools, which again may be part of your own learning and development, to allow it to happen, and the rest unfolds. And that doesn't mean to say that nothing is planned and there is no step-by-step plan, but what it means is that there is this power of alignment that comes when you get out of your own way. And for me, this, if I can't do it all, I won't do it at all, is just getting in your way. It's literally stopping you from getting to the place that you want to be at. And so reframe, really think about every step I take matters, but also who and what else do I need to bring this into reality? Because it saddens me to think that people have like huge dreams and goals and visions of things that could have a massive impact, but they let them go because they can't do it all, and they just say that it's not worth it, or it's not really meant for me, and blah blah, and all of that stuff that comes up. And I think, again, it comes down to, it's not just about devaluing yourself in that moment, but it's also about saying that the people that thing was for don't get it, or they don't get it from you. They'll probably have to go get it from someone else when it was meant to come from you.
Yeah, 100%. Also, let's be realistic. In this day and age, there are certain things, because of the technology and all this, that become very easy for one person to do. But
yes,
at the same time, there are a lot of things, for the same reasons, that they have a big learning curve. And there is a reason why you have specialists, and there is a reason why you bring various talent together to achieve something. And if you look around you, when it comes to like the any big name in your own industry, anyone, you will see that they're working with other people. And even if we bring that like in the house, in our own private areas, I mean, how much more fun it is when you're doing things together, when you're collaborating, when you are showing to your kids how to do something, and then they actually do it. And that feeling of achievement from like the whole and the yeah, from the whole, actually, from everyone, from the team, rather than just the individual. It's just amazing, and we must not like undervalue this at all.
Absolutely. And I think, and again, when we think about all the topics that are prevalent right now, the high levels of stress, the burnout, we keep on hearing all these words, and there's a part of it that says actually we keep on hearing them, and therefore at some point people are just like, oh, blah blah, stop talking about burnout, stop talking about stress, without actually realizing why it's important for us to keep talking about it, because too many people are going down those roads, and we want to stop that. We may never be able to eliminate it completely, but if we can minimize it for most people, that is most definitely doable. In order for that to happen, there is this realization that we are in need of others. We are in need of other human beings. We are not meant to go off and try and do everything our own, conquer the world on our own, create all this wonderful stuff on our own. And, you know, although I've once in a while I've seen stories where it almost sounds like the person has done every single thing. I'm like, who are you discounting? Who have you forgotten to mention on that journey? Because like you said, you know, even if I look across the coaching industry or the training industry, the industries that I work in, when I look at those who have really kind of elevated themselves into that potential, they've done it through team.
Absolutely.
They've done it through team. They may have had the vision, they may have kickstarted, they may have started as the one, but as that vision kind of got bigger and had growth and potential, they had to seek out other people to hold the vision.
Oh yeah, 100%. That is how things are moving ahead, and it is, as you said, I think like every single one of those phrases that we are exploring, they all go down to how we value ourselves, and how visible we are really, how much we think we are enough, and like there are 4 or 5 things that really all these phrases are sitting on.
Yes.
And these are the things that we need to really tackle, and we really need to question where all this is coming from. And it is done by the work that we do, and it is done in a community, because that's where like each other is allowed to see, basically, or it's like the one person sees the other person's blind spot. That's it. We all have them.
Yes.
And if we don't see them, if we don't like understand and accept that we have them, we are really doing a huge disservice to ourselves and our own communities, our own families, and the people that we are around.
Yeah, completely. So if you find yourself kind of using this phrase, or it sounds very familiar to you, and the wording may be slightly different, but it always comes down to, you know, I can't do it all, therefore I won't do it. It's not worth doing it. You know, I'm too tired to do it. Whatever the other bit is to that, is just to remember, well, 2 things. One, everything starts with one step. One small step. So let's get back to understanding that whatever it is, however big it is, it's like one step at a time. And then also to consider that who and what else and what else would help me to bring this into reality, to make this thing happen. Yeah.
It sounds simple.
Yeah, it's, you know what, and that's the thing, it sounds simple, but I think if we adhere to it and we don't keep on falling back into the phrase, because of course the phrases probably have been with us for so long that we just go back to them, we recycle back to them, because they've just been there all the time. So the whole point is that whole rewiring that we talk about, and I'm not going to go down the whole, you know, the whole brain and the neuroscience thing, but that whole rewiring is, what is another phrase that you can use that is supportive and that helps you to see things differently. So opposed to, if I can't do it all, I won't do it all, what do I need to do it all? What do I need to do it all? Who do I need to do it all? Just ask ourselves better questions that help us to get the outcome that we want to have.
Oh, I love that. Yes, absolutely. Let's ask ourselves better questions. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So what is the next question or the next phrase that we are talking about today, Yvonne?
So the next one is, I've already failed, so why try? Why bother? What's the point? Ah. And this is interesting because the saboteurs that tend to run this program are the judge, which we all have. And I want to say that with compassion. I want to say that with compassion and kindness, because I know it's like, oh, well, I haven't got a judge. Yeah, kind of have, sorry. We all have. That's just the way it is. So, but it tends to be the judge or the victim, or the victim, both perhaps. But the fact that we all have the judge running in our system in some shape or form means that we're just all susceptible to this. You know, I've already failed, so why try? This didn't work out, so what's the point? You can change the word, but the thing means the same. Right? You know, I did it once before, it didn't work out. I'm not, why would I bother to do it again? These sorts of things that, again, stop us from exploring the possibilities. And if we go to all of the things that have been created in our world, how many of those things were right first time? How many of those things were, you know, was the TV just built in a day and everything worked perfectly and brilliantly? I doubt it. You know, anything and everything takes time and effort, takes exploration, takes experimenting. And that for me is the key thing here. Is like, if something didn't work out, what can you take from it? What's the lesson that you get to take from it? Keep the lesson, go again. And also know, and on the back of that, I also want to say, and then know when something just isn't going to work out for whatever reason, that truly isn't. Like, I've tried it these 10, maybe I'm getting in my own way, and maybe I need a fresh pair of eyes to help me see what I'm not seeing. Because that goes back to that thing again. Stop locking yourself in. Be willing to seek, you know, another pair of eyes that you trust, or that you don't know, but perhaps you know they're an expert in that thing. Utilize that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, what's the point of like completely shutting something down when you have not explored all the possibilities? And there are always countless possibilities of going about a problem or a challenge. And I think it was Einstein that he said that you cannot solve the challenge, the problem, with the same brain that actually created it. So there you go. You can definitely find solutions through collaborations, through as you said, even somebody in your immediate environment, doesn't matter. A second pair of eyes will have something to say that could probably trigger something in you, as long as you're open to the possibility, and of course not feeling judged, or not feeling that you cannot be judged. Because a lot of the times, I think, especially when we are creating things, this is really in the top of our head. And then here's where the judge comes in. It's like, you know, what are they going to say? What are they going to think? What are you talking about? This is like way out of your league, blah, 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 blah. And it goes on and on and on a loop. And really, it hurts your chances. So just let the judge go do his own thing, her own thing, whatever, and ask somebody else, and just be open and say, okay, you know, I mean, it is something I'm trying. Why not hear somebody else's opinion? As long as you're feeling safe within that discussion, right? So yeah, I think.
Yeah, I always think of that, and I remember hearing this, and I can't remember where, so I won't try and quote it from. But I always think about that wedge of cheese, and the thing about perception, and depending on where you're standing, depends on what you see. So if it's a wedge of cheese and you're at the thin end, you just see thin. If you're at the back end, you see the big thick wedge, and if you're at the side, you see this long piece. So actually looking for people who see things slightly differently from you is also a really good thing. Not to always seek out people who see things exactly you do, because if you're standing at the front of the tube, you all see the sin bit. Well, okay, how is that going to help with the rest of the stuff that needs to be seen, right, and understood? So actually having people with slightly different perspectives can really lead to those aha moments. You're like, oh my gosh, I would never have thought of that. Oh my goodness, I didn't even think of that. I didn't see that, didn't understand it, whatever that is. So this thing about failing is just like, you just haven't got all the pieces of the puzzle. It's okay. You haven't got all the pieces of the puzzle, so go find them. And they may be in somebody else, they may be through your own time of exploring, and things may come up as you keep progressing with the thing that you're doing. And I always think that, you know, sometimes, and I hear this a lot, people cut out of their dream just before they're about to hit that corner and get around it to what's actually waiting for them. They cut out because they don't think it's worth it. You know, I've tried, I've failed, what's the point? And then the other point of that is that the judge is so good at kind of like, well, yeah, you should cut your losses. But then the judge is also really good at pointing out somebody else who has done it and then telling you how badly they've done it, right? So you're it's just like, well, I could have done it better than that. Here's the difference, is the person stayed in the game. The person stayed in the game and you exited because that voice told you you failed, why try? The other person has perhaps said, I'm just going to keep going until something happens. That's what I'm going to do. So just understanding how these phrases phrase everything else, literally, and how they impact how we feel, whether we feel confident or whether we feel at a complete loss. But also understanding that if we can grasp what is happening, we can, and that's that self-awareness bit. Okay, what do I need to get back on track? Who can I speak to? What do I need to do differently? What have I done so far that has worked, minus the stuff that hasn't? And what else may I need to throw in that mix? So always look for the lessons, you know, and I say this because I'm constantly doing this. I'm looking for the lessons. When things don't go the way that I had hoped, expected, but planned, blah, 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 it's like, okay, what am I learning in this moment? And there is always a lesson. Always.
And I think this is like where reflection is a big ally for all of us. And we tend to, I don't even know if we you know, like reflecting, I know it's like something is like quite trending at the moment and stuff, and it is because it is very important for us. And if we want to find the lessons in whatever comes our way, for good, for bad, whatever, and all in between, reflecting makes a huge difference in our strategies, in the way that we handle things, in the way that we learn, in how we're moving forward, in what we're going to leave behind, what we're going to take with us. And every single failure is not really a failure if you don't consider it a failure at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And like, it's not about you know, like not even about reframing here. It's about giving it the meaning you want to give it. There is no such thing as failure if you don't want to give it that meaning. If you want to give it that meaning, yes, of course, there is. But the meaning of failure it's very different for very different people. And I think that goes back to the cheese. You said, Yvonne, because you give it the meaning you want depending on the circumstances, I suppose, for yourself. But here is what the trick is. Like, even if the circumstances are the worst for you at this moment in time, try giving the meaning that will empower you, will serve you, rather than the meaning that's going to put you even worse down, even like in a worse state than you are at the moment. And if you choose to learn from it, well, it's likely you're not going to repeat the mistake. So
Absolutely.
all win.
Absolutely. And I think we have to take that whole thing about failure And I personally, when I think about the word, I think about school where, you're a failure if you haven't done and you failed this exam and, it's pass or you fail and there's this hard pass or a hard fail and there's nothing in between. And actually, that's not how life is. It's like if you do something and it doesn't work out. So I will never say it's failed. I'll just say, okay, that didn't work out. What did I learn from it? And what could I do differently? Or who would I like to ask who perhaps has broader experience or knowledge or could just give me a different perspective? So the language you use is so critical. And if you keep on talking about failures, guess what? You end up thinking you're a failure. You're not a failure. What is that? You're not a failure. But that's how blanketing it can be. It's just like you then embody what it means to be a failure and you think that everything is a fail. And no, that's absolutely a lie. It's simply that something hasn't worked out and you just want to discover, hence exploring, what it is. And that may be something you can do on your own through reflection, as Evie was talking about, or it may be something you get to do because you have a discussion with others who then saying, oh, well, what about, and maybe you could, and then you just open it up. There is no, oh, you're right, and you're right, and you're right, but you open it out and just think, wow, there are more possibilities here than I could have come up with on my own. Where do I want to go with it next? And for me, that allows you to be a little bit more playful. And if you're playful with it, you just get a little bit more lighter and you're not so hard on yourself. You're not beating yourself up. It's like, okay, let me experiment, let me play, let me see what happens. What a different feeling that has in the body than you failed, you're wrong. What are you doing? Stop it. Very different feeling.
100%. Words do count, don't they? And they have also an energy that affects us big time. And being playful with whatever you're doing, to the extent that you can, has a huge impact in how you see yourself and how you see life and the joy you bring. So, and that is not just the joy within, but the joy you reflect for others around you. So that's like, there is so much to gain from like dealing with this type of issues this way, rather than oh, you failed and you're a failure and I don't know what, blah, blah. And also imagine the stress that all this brings to us. And not every stressful situation actually manifests externally. So we need to be very vigilant of that. Talking back, going back to burnout and all these things. Yeah. These things don't happen in 1 second. There is like a constant bombardment of self with all this negativity that creates havoc in our bodies and causes burnout eventually.
Absolutely. And I think when you were talking about the importance of, or the willingness to be playful in situations, is that playful is related to creativity. So if you want to give yourself the opportunity to be creative, get playful, because they kind of go hand in hand. Being creative is not, people say, oh, but when I'm under stress and I can come up with things. Well, I'm not saying that doesn't work. But I wonder if you were coming up with things from a state of playfulness, whether those things would be different, whether those things would be more helpful, I don't know. I'm not saying one way or the other. People can get stuff done under stress. That doesn't mean to say that it feels good. It certainly doesn't mean to say that you're doing your body any favors. It just means you can get stuff done under stress. But what if you could get stuff done from a state of playfulness? What might that feel like and look like? And how might that distance you from things like the fear of failure? How might that just pull you away from all of the wording and language that comes up through that? Just a thought.
Oh, and that's I think something that we could leave people with because it's a good way to reflect and find out for yourself what each of these things mean. Yeah, time has passed so quickly. Time passes so quickly.
I know.
So,
oh my goodness. It's just, I love the fact that when we started doing these, it was like 30 minutes. I mean, that feels quite long, but we'll just try and see if we can do 30 minutes. I don't think we've once gone under 30 minutes. But anyway, we try our best, folks. We try our best.
We're fine.
Don't count that as a failure. We count that as a win.
Absolutely not. And I mean, I'm super excited because we are having things coming up like pretty quickly. I can't believe it's been like 3 weeks, 4 weeks in the planning, and tomorrow is the day. Yvonne.
It is. Tomorrow is the kickstart day for our challenge, which. So, and I want to be clear, because you may have been seeing posts and thinking, oh, that sounds interesting. Then you've seen different dates and thinking, well, what date am I looking at here? So let me just be really clear that the challenge is, we call it a 5-day challenge because there are 5 key days, right? So there are 5 days of activities that we give you to test drive. This is the explore and the experiment bit, to see how they help you de-stress on the spot. So these are like bite-sized things that you can do in the moment. Feeling stressed, going into a meeting, what can I do to just bring myself back to the present? These are some of the things that you get to experience. Now, when we say it kickstarts tomorrow, is because we're doing a live tomorrow in the community to just say what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how we feel it can help you in your day-to-day living. And to give you a taste, and it is a taste, of the work that we do in Permission to Thrive. So there's a live tomorrow. It's at 12:30 in the community. If you are interested or you want to access, you do need to go to the landing page and sign up for the challenge to do that. And the page is www.permissiontothrive.online. So then on Monday, there will be daily activities released. They will be released in the morning so that you can actually go to them whenever works for you. So although they're released at 7:30 in the morning, but if you can't get to it till 12, that's fine. It's recorded. And there's documentation and stuff to really help you and guide you whilst you experiment. And then after those 5 key days, Evie,
we then have the rests. There's not the rests. So people, then we are giving you, again, bite-sized ways of resting. And there are, believe it or not, 5 rests. Or that's how we have labeled them. But it is like to rest mentally, to rest physically, to rest that's what we mean by rest. So you get extra information on that, but at the same time you get to practice all the things that you've learned from week 1. And the reason why we have done that is because we want you to have the opportunity to practice as much as possible, because none of this happens in 5 seconds. Let's be realistic here. You can distress on the spot. You can use the tools and get back to self and to a state that you can manage really quickly. But in order for this to become the norm for you, you need the practice and you need to do the work. And those 2 weeks are a very good basis for anyone to get that that foundation. And then we will welcome you, or we will invite you to see what else is available, how you can get a bit more of what we will be sharing in this next 2 weeks.
Absolutely. And just to add to that, that whole point is, I always say we call it a practice for a reason, because you have to practice it. If you want it to take a hold, if you want it to be something that you embody, something that you do quite naturally, you have to practice it. It's the consistency that actually gets you the results that you want to have. So whilst we say those 5 days, but you get to spread it out, and you get to keep on going back and keep on testing them out, experimenting, and seeing what really works for you and seeing what doesn't work for you so much. That's all okay. That's all okay. So if you're even faintly interested, we invite you to go sign up, test it out, come and play, be playful, and see how this might support you in your day-to-day life, and see how it may help you to just have those little moments of de-stress where you get to come back and then feel a little bit fresher to go again. And one thing that I will say from my own experience of this is, the more I do it, because I still do the practices, and they haven't disappeared, I still do, but the more I do it, I don't have to think about doing the practice. It just comes. If suddenly I'm like, oh my gosh, I know exactly what to slip into, right? My body knows exactly where to take me. That only comes with the consistent practice. And so we really want to invite you to come, test it out, meet some other wonderful women who are going to be testing it out too, and see what happens.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say I'm still practicing, and I'm sure I will be practicing forever, because that's the way to do it. And basically, this is what it means when we say rewiring. Just to touch on this really quickly, it's just that by practicing, you are creating the different neuropaths that automatically bring you back to where you want to be, to how you want to show up, much faster than you would if you are taken over by your saboteurs, and you just get to that state that you cannot control. So you are pretty much in control, which is really nice.
What you can be in control of, but more than anything, stopping that, the stress response from kicking in constantly. Anyway, I think we've said enough about that now. We want to invite you, go to the page, go check it out, sign up, test it out. It's free. You've got nothing to lose. And as I said, because most of it is recorded, you will just be able to access it when it's right and convenient for you. All that we would encourage you to do is to access it, because if you don't access it, then obviously you can't do the practice, you get no results. So that is kind of where we're at with it.
Thank you very much, Yvonne. Thank you very much, everyone. Whether you have been here live or in the replay, leave us your comments. Let us know what your thoughts are. Give us some other phrases maybe that we can unpack and see what they are. Also, I mean, we'd like to see what becomes more real in your mind as you are going through those myth-busting series videos, because maybe there are things that you have not thought about, and now because you are hearing us, something shows up.
Yeah,
anyway, I'll stop talking now.
Absolutely. And just to sign off, just to say, here at Permission to Thrive, we want to help you break free from the stories and the narratives that keep you caged.
With grace, not grind.
Yeah.
Bad at that.
We got it. Evie, thank you so much. Everyone else, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye, Yvonne. Bye.